Tonis Samaras was sworn in today as the new Prime Minister of Greece. As a coalition government was formed, the pro-bailout government will now have the challenging task of fixing the woeful Greek economy.
A Greek economy which is paralyzed to a certain extent amid political, social unrest. To explain what this is all going to mean, we're joined by political scientist Phil Giurlando with the University of Toronto. So, Phil, now that a government has actually been formed, what is the next step for Greece, do you think?
Well, the Troika inspectors, the Troika are the organizations that are monitoring the bailout. Greece received 2 bailouts and it has to fulfill a number of conditions. The Troika monitors these conditions. Well, it monitors the capacity of the Greek state to implement these conditions. They have to go in and do inspections, and then after that there's going to be negotiations between the Greek government and the representatives of the Troika. That's the ECB, the IMF, and the Commission. Now, if the Troika is not satisfied that the Greek government is fulfilling its end of the bargain, and there are many reasons to believe that it will not be satisfied, they're going to be tough. They're going to say, if you want the next tranche of the bailout money, you're going to have to implement the reforms that you agreed to, and those reforms include privatization of state assets, liberalizing labor markets to improve competitiveness, cutting public spending. The Greek government has a mandate to renegotiate these conditions, and this is where it's going to be potentially explosive.
Yeah, because, Phil, the other thing we have to acknowledge is that since the bailout, since the European leaders met, things have changed, particularly France. There's now a new French president, Francois Hollande, who's winning a majority.
That's right.
And he's very anti-austerity.
That's right.
How's that going to play into everything?
Well, he doesn't have that much influence because the Greek economy and the French economy and French public finances are not in good shape. In fact, Holland himself is going to have to implement austerity because he agreed to meet the deficit targets of a deficit of 3% of GDP by 2013. He himself is going to have to implement austerity. His rhetoric during the campaign must be understood as a strategy to obtain votes. The reality is that he will not have much influence, especially relative to Germany. At the end of the day, it is Germany who will have the final say on whether austerity moves forward or not.
With this European summit nearing, a lot of people are talking about the need to have a sort of a larger solution here, Phil.
Yeah, that's right.
As
absolutely.
you know,
absolutely.
Stop doing it piecemeal, but
That's
actually
right.
come to some kind of firewall all around Europe. Is that realistic, though, to expect from these summits?
It's not realistic because the political conditions for the big solutions that are necessary are not present. We have to make a distinction between the political class and the public. The political class, the European political class, there's a consensus among them that, say, Euro bonds are necessary, an insurance deposit scheme is necessary. But this would mean that other European countries would have to give significant sovereignty to Brussels. They would have to give up sovereignty to Brussels. In order for them to do that, there would have to be referendums, because these kinds of huge changes would require democratic legitimacy. But in Europe, there is very little support for these kinds of big solutions that would give more power to Brussels. In fact, what we're seeing is the opposite. Populist and radical right and left-wing parties that are very anti-Europe are gaining strength. In their last Greek election, 40% of the vote went to radical anti-European parties. You're seeing these trends in Italy. You're seeing these trends in other countries as well. So they know what the solutions are, but the political conditions for these solutions are absent, and that's why I'm not confident that they will happen anytime soon.
Phil Giurlando in Toronto. Thanks so much, Phil.
You're welcome.